In this video, I'm going to be reacting to an article in the Washington Post entitled, "Tesla owners love their cars. Elon Musk, not so much." Now, I haven't read the article yet, so I'll be reacting in real time here. Hopefully it's interesting, maybe entertaining, possibly informative, but we'll just have to find out. So let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store, so check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. So before we get into this article, I just want to address the obvious elephant in the room, and that is, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk for many reasons. Predominantly because I admire and respect Elon as a human being. I understand and clearly see his values, what he's trying to do, get where he's coming from, and I relate incredibly closely to Elon Musk. Now, I'm often accused of being a fanboy. I worship the ground Elon walks on. I'll never criticize anything. I always agree with his opinions. This is untrue. However, it is true that he and I are very similar in our thinking, in our values, in our concerns, our mindset, our history, our background, and our interests. This is why I'm so often able to predict something that Elon will say or do, or clarify his position on something, before he needs to come back and go, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. It's because I get Elon Musk. I relate very closely to him. Now, some people go, dude, you're so fucking high. You and Elon is totally separate. But what are you talking about? You're an idiot. You're a fanboy. You just want to be Elon again. I understand where these people are coming from too, but let's just run down the list of extreme similarities between Elon and myself so you guys understand where I'm coming from and why I believe that I can provide some insight into who Elon Musk is that other people sometimes miss. For starters, Elon and I both understand how the universe works from the atoms up. We both have an intimate understanding of physics. Elon has formally studied physics. I've informally studied physics. It was my very first passion. Not even kidding. Elon and I are also obsessed with the idea of becoming a multiplanetary species. I've been dreaming about visiting the moon, Mars, and ultimately the stars since I was a child. We also have deep concerns about the potential threat of artificial superintelligence and it falling into the wrong hands or accidentally summoning the demon. Elon and I also give literally zero fucks what other people think about us. We are as far from being approval-seeking humans as could possibly be. We also share an incredibly strong sense of justice. In fact, I'd probably call this pathological. We are also always willing to share our mind. Consequences be damned. It's not that Elon and I are morons. We're well aware that saying a certain thing, sharing a certain opinion might cause a few people to get butthurt and mad, maybe even offended, but we do it anyway. The truth matters more than your feelings. We're both also often misunderstood and each have many haters, although Elon on a whole other level. We also both own Tesla stock, fancy that. We're also extremely worried about the woke mind virus. We're both irreligious and very much open to psychedelics. And of course, we're also both on the autism spectrum. All that is to say that I genuinely do relate very closely to Elon Musk. It's not that I agree with everything. In fact, there's sometimes I vehemently disagree. Here's a couple of examples. Number one, Elon's philosophy on food and health, which is basically I just eat stuff that tastes good and I don't mind dropping dead as a result. Meanwhile, there's this guy who is absolutely obsessed with health and longevity. I've been ultra focused on this now for about 15 years. In Elon's defense, if I was working as hard as he was, I wouldn't have any mental energy to do anything. I'd be eating garbage. My entire life would be falling apart. But I personally am too selfish to prioritize my mission. Number one, health. Mission number two. Elon and I are very different here. Another thing is his philosophy with women, dating, and relationships. On this, we are completely opposing in our views and our thoughts. Elon desperately needs to be with somebody. In his own words, he's literally said this, he can't be alone. That is a very bad recipe for a sustainable, passionate relationship. If you're coming from a place of desperation and need, things will not end well. Women will realize they can walk all over you and eventually they'll get turned off and fuck off. Not that there's a history of this happening to Elon Musk, of course. If Elon's watching, you need to read 3% Man, my dude. It'll change your life. It's not that I can't disagree with Elon Musk. It's just that in general, we seem to be on the same page on many things. And I think a lot of this has to do with our scientific, physics-based understanding of the world. There are a few people I relate closely to on this planet, Elon Musk being a prime example, another. In fact, this guy has never said anything I've ever disagreed with. Ever. That would be Dave Lee. Shout out to Dave. I admire and respect Dave. We are very different in our personality traits and the way we show up, and in many of our lifestyle choices. Dave is almost the antithesis of me in terms of some of our traits. I'm obnoxious, arrogant, in your face, rude as fuck, offensive, abrasive. Meanwhile, Dave is much more measured, much more balanced. I've never seen Dave say or do anything that came even close to being obnoxious, arrogant, or abrasive. Yet, when we really dig beneath the surface, as I said, I've never heard him say a thing I disagreed with. I can't say that for most other people. But there are occasionally people out there where I just find myself agreeing with a lot of things because we have a similar way of thinking about the world. We've had similar experiences, done similar work on ourselves, and draw similar conclusions about lots of things. So now that you guys and girls have a little bit of an idea of where I'm coming from, let's read the article. Here we are over on the Jeff Bezos-owned Washington Post. Quote, Tesla owners love their cars. Elon Musk, not so much. And for the record, this is totally fair. There's plenty of people who love their Tesla products and for whatever reason don't love Elon Musk. There's nothing wrong with that. After all, what you think about the CEO or anyone working for a particular company probably shouldn't have any bearing on whether or not you enjoy and love and use their products. Unless, of course, you have such an intense, burning, passionate hate for this person, their ideology, something that they've said, that you're willing to cause yourself to suffer, to go without the best products in the industry, the best available on market, just to make a point. Because obviously a lot of people really care, and the point that you make is really going to have a positive impact. Anyway, let's get into it. Written by Karen Heller. Written on June 4/20, or something like that. Anyway, let's move along. Earl and Lindsay Benning. By the way, you guys and girls should follow Earl on Twitter if you want some frunk puppy pics. He is the man. Earl and Lindsay Benning love their Tesla. A common sentiment among the Teslarati. Owners don't tend to idle in neutral. But when it comes to Tesla's CEO, SpaceX commander, Twitter behemoth, and wannabe overlord, Elon Musk, the couple in Dayton, Ohio, diverges like a fork in the interstate. Man, these analogies, holy fuck, dude. Quote, I find him deeply problematic, says Lindsay, 46, a clinical psychologist. Quote, he is an attention-seeking person, end quote. Let me know in the comments below, do you guys and girls think this is true? Is Elon an attention-seeking person? Or is he a person that seems to attract attention, or a little bit of both? Now, personally, I think there's a little bit of narcissism in Elon Musk. I also think there's a little bit of narcissism, or potentially a lot, in literally every single person you've ever heard of who's outside your direct social circle. That's why you know about them. I could be wrong, of course, but I do think that it's almost a necessary ingredient to having a profile. However, I don't think seeking attention is driving any of Elon's actions. It's almost a side effect of having a massive positive impact on planet Earth and beyond. Musk's tweets, which seem to have revved into overdrive since he announced a $44 billion hostile takeover bid of Twitter in April, make her, quote, uncomfortable and anxious. If Musk succeeds in acquiring the social media platform, she says, quote, my life, I can't take this shit seriously. Sorry, but I just have a total utter disrespect and disdain for this kind of horse shit. Here we go, ready? It's going to be a less safe space. Not that it is now. Potentially, it's going to get worse. I just can't take the term safe space seriously. I just can't. Okay, we're not talking about anybody being physically harmed here. We're talking about the ability for people to freely exchange their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. To suggest there's something unsafe about that, to me, sounds like a professional victim. Look at me, I'm a victim. It's unsafe. I need to be protected. Everyone needs to be protected. We're all victims. Help, help, help. It's so unsafe here. I just don't respect this. It's pathetic to me. It's weak and pathetic. The term safe space has a relevant and valid application when we're talking about a physical place. There are some places that aren't super safe for people, certain demographics. They may be at risk of physical harm. But I mean, honestly, this almost sounds like the speech of somebody currently infected with the woke mind virus. And of course, I know I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered in the comments. Oh my god, dude, people can say mean things on Twitter. It's so unsafe. Well, you know what? There is one silver lining here. If this is the worst we're worried about today in modern society, unsafe online spaces, well, I guess humanity has made a lot of progress. Earl, also 46, by the way, looking good for 46, brother. An Air Force major and neuropsychologist who has been retweeted by Musk is more accepting. Quote, I see him as human, as a genius with flaws. Well, that's great. Elon is a human. As I've said in the past, people are packages. You get everything that comes in the package. It's nice to hear this point of view from Earl. Very respectful and understanding, and dare I say it, inclusive. Quote, he's lacking some empathy. That makes two of us. He's definitely chewed up some relationships along the way. The car is a marvel. Owners rhapsodize. When it comes to the man, god damn it, they have misgivings. Ah, Jesus. Tesla owners purchase the cars and frequently the stock because they care about the environment and adore the way they drive and look. I guess I must be an exception to the rule. Like, you know, I'm not exactly like anti-environment, but I've never cared that much to be buying Tesla the stock. And I mean, I've never really been a car person either. I don't even own a Tesla vehicle. Maybe I'm an exception to the rule here. I invested in Tesla because of the opportunity. And obviously, it's great. There's certain investments that I'll never make because of my ethical concerns and moral objections. But in the case of Tesla, no issues there either. They're doing good for the world, awesome. But my purchase of Tesla stock had nothing to do with my adoration of the company or their mission. I'm just being honest. But much of their passion has been complicated by Musk's behavior and public musings. Musk's tweets and other commentary are so frequent and so absent of filter that to some of his nearly 96 million followers, though many may be bots, he has lost all ability to shock. Generating puerile, here we go, puerile and sexist tweets, here we go. A false accusation of sexism leveled at Elon Musk. I've had the same shit leveled at me. I can't wait to click through and see what this apparent sexist tweet is. What's the bet here? When we click through, we can't find any evidence whatsoever of a tweet that shows any prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination against either men or women based on their sex. I bet we can't find any evidence. Of course, it's possible that someone infected by the woke mind virus, so driven by their need to hate anyone that doesn't conform to the one true narrative, will invent some meaning, conjure up some sexism where there is none. Or maybe this is a tweet I somehow missed. Let's find out. A reminder of just some of the terrible things Elon Musk has said and done. Oh wait, I've seen this one before. The same thing happened a while ago. Some dickhead in an article claimed that Elon Musk is a misogynist, and I clicked through and we found the same fucking article, which is a load of horseshit. Let's read on. Quote, from regularly attacking his perceived enemies to running a company accused of rampant racism and sexism. It's not hard to see why so many people are up in arms about him taking over Twitter. Do a search for the word sexist. Here we go, tweeting dumb sexist jokes. Here we go, let's click through to the dumb sexist joke. In one tweet, Elon Musk captures the everyday sexism faced by women in STEM. And what was this one tweet? I'm thinking of starting a new university. Texas Institute of Technology and Science. Yes, this joke, great acronym, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, although Elon is serious about starting a university, somehow equates to, in fact, let's read the very definition of sexism right now. Characterized by showing prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination, typically against women on the basis of sex. Can somebody please point where exactly in this tweet is there any prejudice, any stereotyping, or any discrimination toward women? There is none. The only person who could possibly think there is somebody whose brain is so damaged by the woke mind virus they can't think straight. They just need to hate everything that doesn't conform to the one true narrative. There's nothing sexist about this tweet at all. Yet this is some of the slander being leveled at Elon Musk's sexist tweet. What? So according to the, I'm going to say it, moron who wrote this article, oh by the way, I hate women, I'm a sexist too because the author's a woman, right? And I just said she's a moron, therefore I'm sexist too because that's how it works, right? Yeah, exactly. Apparently that was a sexist tweet. Offending the trans and non-binary, deploying grossly inaccurate statements about the coronavirus. You mean being wrong about something? He later said, hey, I was wrong on that. It's like people aren't allowed to change their mind or ever be wrong in this world. It's fucking crazy. Trolling Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal with a poop emoji. Oh, and in 2018, engaging in securities fraud. Again, we've covered this. There was no securities fraud. Not going to go over this one again, but this is also false. Resulting in Musk and Tesla each paying $20 million penalties. He exhausts patience and blots out the sun. He reigns over the Twitter sphere, once ruled by Trump, whom Musk has surpassed in followers. In April, Musk shared, and not for the first time, that half of his tweets are created on the toilet. Musk did not respond to emailed requests for comment. In the world of Tesla owners, Musk can be a constant source of conversation. Fair, I mean, I talk about Elon quite regularly on this channel, and I'm not even a Tesla owner, in a way that few CEOs are. After all, how many can most of us name? Quote, Elon Musk lives rent-free in my husband's head, all the time. Says Colleen Shattuck, 66, a retired physician assistant and Tesla owner in Montana, of her husband Paul, a retired mining engineer. I'm sure there's many relationships globally in which this could be said. The argument that with great genius comes great flaws surfaces frequently. Now, I just want to take a step back here. Can we just, why does this have to be about geniuses? Name a person on Earth that you know of that doesn't have flaws. Oh wait, actually I won't, because you'll never name one, I'll be waiting forever. I'm deeply flawed. Everyone's got their flaws. It's almost like Elon's being judged by a different standard here. Let Elon be Elon, his admirers say, uniformly addressing him by his first name. Genius has its privileges. Again, I don't understand why we're trying to make Elon different from us. Put him up on a pedestal. He's a genius. He's allowed to have flaws, but we're not. Everyone's got flaws. Why try to make this divide here? He's just a human. He's a person like the rest of us. Look, he gave us snazzy electric cars, provided you can afford the sticker price and tolerate delayed gratification. In some regions, a delivery wait time of more than 6 months. Last spring on Saturday Night Live, Musk announced that he has Asperger's syndrome, part of the autism spectrum, which gained him sympathy among some followers, while it was knocked by others as self-serving and hollow. Can you imagine that? Elon Musk coming out of the closet, admitting, look, I have autism. That explains why I'm a little bit different and weird, just in case you didn't realize. And for it to be described as self-serving and hollow, for implying that explains his behavior. I mean, honestly, let's take a moment to think, what kind of a dark place do you need to be in psychologically to write an article suggesting that Elon, announcing to the world that he has autism, is self-serving and hollow? I mean, for fuck's sake. Again, this is just somebody presumably infected with the woke mind virus. Elon makes a very personal and private admission, trying to help the world understand him a little bit better and why they don't always understand him, and this is some of the responses. Quote, my experience is that geniuses are always messy, says Sarah Thorne, or maybe Sarah Thorne, not sure how that's pronounced in the US. 63, quote, they may do society a lot of good. At the same time, they can cause a lot of problems. To Thorne, Musk's logorrheic commentary is besides the point. Quote, I don't have the bandwidth or the interest to pay attention. I don't have to play in the sandbox with him. Absolutely fair. If you own a Tesla Model X, cool, own a Tesla Model X. Doesn't mean you need to give a shit about what Elon is saying or doing. Totally agree. She adds, Quote, I would pray for the people who work for him because it can't be easy. Obviously not. Of course, no one's working for Elon Musk who's dumb enough to think that what they were signing up for would be easy, right? People are there because it's meaningful, because it matters, not because it's going to be easy. Disassociation abounds. Love the car, not the tweeter. To many, Musk is akin to a fictional character, one who lives on Twitter. It's as though he's cosplaying it being the world's richest dude, worth around 218 billion depending on the day. Tesla drivers compare him to a wacky uncle. Albert Einstein, an undisciplined adolescent, albeit one who's 50. Donald Trump, one of Reader Digest's most unforgettable characters. Even George Costanza. Quote, I choose to view Elon Musk as this separate character aside from Tesla, a blessing and a curse, says Andy Sly, 32, who works in information technology Louisville and runs a tech YouTube channel with more than 270,000 subscribers. That said, quote, I've always admired how he can be himself, super weird and super polarizing. I think it's a very fair comment from Andy. I also admire the fact that Elon can be himself. And why is this? Because Elon Musk doesn't need anyone's approval. I relate quite closely to this. Robert Rosenblum, 60, a Los Angeles emergency room physician and co-host of the Talking Tesla podcast, views Musk's social media salvos as a window into how the superior mind works. Imagine if Einstein or Edison had mused on Twitter. This is actually a very interesting idea. Think about that for a moment. Quote, we might see much of the same conversation, Rosenblum says. If we put a filter on them, we would be back in the Stone Age. Great point. We wouldn't have anyone putting their neck out. It's a good thing we have geniuses that push the limits. I would sort of simplify this and say it's a good thing we have people with balls large enough to say what they think and believe without being concerned whether or not people get offended, butthurt, or whether or not they'll gain everyone's approval. There are his shifting politics. Some owners dislike Musk's pronouncement in May that the Democrats are the party of division and hate. He will vote Republican and, if successful in acquiring Twitter, he will reverse Donald Trump's ban from Twitter, which he called a, quote, morally bad decision, to be clear, and foolish in the extreme. And I agree with these comments, man. I covered this stuff at the time. Talked about this on Patreon. Absolute fucking insanity. Banning a sitting president from Twitter. Let's not go there. 2/3 of electric and hybrid vehicle owners identified or lean Democrat, according to a 2021 Pew Research Center survey. Imagine that. Elon Musk saying something he knows ideologically may oppose the majority view of many of his customers, yet does it anyway because that's right, doesn't need your approval. What CEO offends the majority of his potential consumer base? I'll answer that question. A CEO who A, has testicles, B, knows where to find them, and C, regularly employs them. Something few other CEOs can say. P.S. I can't wait for the misogynist comments because I implied that having courage requires testicles. It just, please, dear woke mind virus people, yep, tell me in the comments below how I hate women and I'm a sexist because I said that. Please. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, except the people who are professional victims who are just out to be offended because they need significance, and that's the only thing they can do in their life to get any significance whatsoever is caring about the one true thing, the one true narrative, and spitting hate at people that clearly hate women because they suggest that testicles equals courage. You guys see how meta this video is? You know, I'm poking the bear here, doing the same kind of thing that Elon does, knowing full well the consequences and still no fucks given. Shattuck describes herself as a, quote, recovering Republican, the recovering due to Trump. She has been taken aback by Musk's, quote, outrageous, oh my god, here we fucking go again, misogynist. Never heard Elon say anything misogynistic. Now, let's do the definition of misogynist. Let's just be really clear. The dictionary definition of a misogynist: a person who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against women. Zero evidence of Elon Musk having ever said anything that even suggests that there may be any misogyny hiding within his being. None. Again, this is just ridiculous. Woke mind virus causes brain damage, causes people to spit hate and level these kind of accusations. I get this shit all the time too. I make a dumb joke about somebody's girlfriend who I don't know, just a generic anonymous joke to poke the insecure guys out there who've got some problems, who take things personally when they're clearly not. Next minute I'm a misogynist because I made a joke about banging their girlfriend while they're away, right? There's nothing even close to hatred towards women or prejudice against women in those comments, but some people, so much brain damage caused from the woke mind virus that they decide that I hate women. Same shit here, it's ridiculous. I can't take anyone seriously who makes these kind of accusations against Elon Musk. They're just so far off base, it's embarrassing. The article continues. Again, it's that complete lack of filter. Does no one call him aside and say, this is not appropriate in this day and age? AKA, does anyone call Elon Musk aside and say, hey Elon, there's a few morons who are suffering from woke mind virus induced brain damage who might get offended by things you said even though what you said was reasonable, not hateful whatsoever, and clearly they're misinterpreting it. Please don't be you, Elon, because we're concerned that you may not have the approval of every single person on the planet. To her, allowing Trump's return to the social media platform would be a tweet too far. Quote, I understand freedom of speech. No, you don't. Allow me to mansplain to you. See, I'm just trolling the people. I can't help poke the bear. This is a joke though. I don't understand freedom of speech, and my brain isn't working because I currently have the woke mind virus, but you can't let lies go unchecked. You can't cry fire in a crowded... Oh, not this one again. Now, I just have to clarify, okay? It's illegal to call fire in a crowded building unless there is a fire. This can cause people to die. People's lives are physically in danger here. This is illegal. This isn't free speech. This is being a... They're completely different things. This argument is like some 3 IQ shit right here. Really. The absurdity of this. To start, I understand freedom of speech. And then to go on and explain, I clearly don't understand freedom of speech because I think that yelling fire in a crowded theatre is freedom of speech when it's not. Let's move on. Ben Sullins. No comments. I don't know who that person is. I've definitely never watched that YouTube channel, so I have nothing to say about Ben Sullins. A data science educator and electric vehicle YouTube reviewer calls Tesla's, quote, basically the best cars on the planet. They changed the entire industry. I agree. He is wholly disappointed in Musk. Quote, Twitter has not been his friend, says Sullins, 40, of San Diego. Quote, you're not just any other man. You're a leader of a movement. I believe wholeheartedly in the mission. I see you making bad choices, being controversial. The company... the irony here. Making bad choice. I'm not gonna, it's just too easy. The company, Sullins says, quote, doesn't need him anymore. Go. Please leave Tesla alone. This company is too important for him to screw it up. I'm really biting my tongue here. Sean Mitchell, shout out to Sean, 41, a real estate broker in Denver and president of the local Tesla club, says, quote, I often feel conflicted about him. Letting, quote, Elon be Elon doesn't always triumph. From my perspective, he's his own worst enemy. There are things he can create awareness and goodness around, but using social media to disparage Democrats, I think that probably does more harm than good. Now, from Sean's point of view, I understand what he's saying here. If you're thinking Tesla, the brand, you don't want to offend any customers. You know, for example, maybe Sean has more of an approval-seeking mindset in general. Maybe Sean would be uncomfortable saying something that might offend people. I kind of get that feeling. I get where he's coming from, right? Elon knows, and Sean is acknowledging here, that by Elon freely sharing his thoughts and opinions, especially, for example, about the Democrats, given that, say, 2/3 of Tesla's supporters and customers lean left, certainly some people are going to get offended. Sean makes a great point. The thing that Sean isn't openly acknowledging here is that Elon, despite knowing the consequences, will still say what he believes and still make the comments because he doesn't need anyone's approval. So, in short, the response to what Sean says here, this is true, but Elon doesn't care. And I completely relate to this as somebody who also says things full well knowing the consequences. There's one point I want to expand on a little bit more, and that was Sean's comment that, quote, from my perspective, he's his own worst enemy. There are things he can create awareness and goodness around, but instead he attacks the Democrats, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is the same mistake that so many other people make. Everything Elon does comes from a place of trying to make the world better, to do good. The reason that Elon Musk called out the Democrats, and he's not referring to Democratic voters, he's talking about the politicians themselves in the United States Democratic Party right now. The reason that he called them out as a party of hate is because it's true. He's trying to warn people. He's trying to help people see what's going on. The Democrats are on a mission to divide the country. His goal here isn't to defend Democrats to lose half his customers or more. His goal here is to do good, to help people see what many are missing. Elon knows full well people are going to get mad and offended and butthurt because he calls this out, but he's trying to do good. This is why Elon is so vocal about the woke wine virus. He sees it as a threat to civilization, to humanity, and he's right. The idea from Sean here that Elon could be using Twitter as a platform to do good, to spread good, that's the whole point. That's literally what he's doing. But the interpretation from some people, they see Elon Musk say something that could cause some offense, some butthurt, a little bit abrasive. Some people might get mad and assume that Elon's trying to cause controversy or trouble or do something bad when every action he takes is to try to make the world a better place. Some people just don't get this. Ask yourself the question, why in the flying f*** do you think Elon would say something publicly, knowing full well he's going to get attacked from every direction? So much rage. Oh my God, he said he can't vote Democrats again. Why do you think he would do that? Seriously, ask yourself the question, is it possible that Elon Musk is trying to make the world a better place and trying to do good and trying to point out some of the insanity happening within the US Democratic Party at this point in time? The hate stream coming from the likes of Senator Karen, Bernie Sanders, Robert Rucker, keep going on and on and on. Is it possible that he's trying to raise awareness, given the fact that the left pretty much owns the entire mainstream media in the US? It's very hard to get an unbiased view of what's actually going on. Is it possible that Elon Musk is willing to go out on a limb to suffer personal consequences, professional consequences, trying to do good? Or is it more likely that Elon Musk is just calling out the Democrats because he wants to make people mad and offend them and lose customers? I really want to drive this point home. Anytime Elon says or does anything that causes offense, ask yourself, was he trying to be offensive or was he trying to do something good? This is one of the errors I think a lot of people make who have this approval-seeking need. They just need people's approval. They can't imagine that anyone would say or do anything that could possibly offend a single person, because there's no way in this worldview it's possible for anyone to try to be doing good if the process of doing good causes a few feathers to get ruffled, a little bit of butt hurt along the way. Let me give a personal example. As I've said in the past, I do relate fairly closely to Elon Musk. You guys who are regular viewers of the channel remember me making 30 plus videos, literally calling everyone buying Nikola stock brain dead morons, insulting them, saying that they were on this part of the bell curve constantly, doing whatever I possibly could in the most abrasive, aggressive, obnoxious, rude, hateful way I possibly could. You remember that? A lot of people got mad and offended. Why would you say that, man? That's so mean. You know why? because I was trying to do good as well. There was method to my madness. The end goal is what I'm concerned about, not the path to getting there. So I really relate here completely. In my mind, the entire time that I was saying and doing things that would cause people to get mad and offended and unsubscribe and fuck you, I hate you and so on, the entire reason I was doing this was because I was doing my best to save people who aren't that bright from losing colossal amounts of money getting tricked by an obvious fraudster. Of course, if you just watch the video, you're a big Nicola fanboy or fangirl, you get on the channel, you see one video, this guy's calling the company out as a scam and so on, you might just think that I hate people and hate investors and I'm being mean and trying to belittle people who aren't very smart. And I was willing to take that reputational damage. I'm often misunderstood. But like Elon, there's always method to my madness. Musk can creep into marriage, like the Bannings. Quote, "It's part of my intermittent discomfort of owning a Tesla," says Lindsay, the clinical psychologist. Her values don't align with his professed ones. Funny thing about human beings is we all have different values and different priorities and orders. My highest value is freedom. For other people, their highest value might be security or certainty. Imagine how different our lives would be if somebody's highest value is freedom and somebody else's highest value is security or safety or certainty. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Elon's most important value by far, freedom. Same here. Quote, "Given Elon's position and his level of power, I think that comes with responsibility, which is abrogated with his comments," she says. See, this stuff just does my head in. Lindsay has identified the differences in values between herself and Elon Musk. Spot on. And this is why they behave so differently and think so differently. Let me try to provide a little bit of perspective. In my opinion, Elon Musk sees his responsibility as to doing whatever it takes to ensure that the probability that the future is good increases. The end. That's where his responsibilities end. But many other people go, "Oh no, but you're a CEO, you run Tesla, you have a large audience on Twitter, therefore you're also responsible to only say things that align with the one true narrative, to never offend anybody, to never say anything controversial, to never share any opinions about anything that might cause any butthurt anywhere on planet Earth, because that's also your responsibility." And again, going back to the values, if your highest value is to be approved and loved by others, you may act a little bit differently than if your highest value is freedom. Just saying. And there's no right or wrong here. Everyone's entitled to their own beliefs and everyone has different values. So there's no judgment here. Just trying to point out the differences and why some people think certain things. There's so many people that just can't stand the idea of Elon freely sharing his thoughts and opinions and ideas. And then there's me that's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why would you try to control Elon? Just let the guy be himself. I react the same when people try and tell me on YouTube, not to do this, don't swear, don't say that, you piss people off, I'll unsubscribe. I don't care. Neither does Elon, so I really relate. There are times when Lindsay tells Earl, quote, "I think you have a blind spot when it comes to Elon." To which Earl says, quote, "I do have a bit of a blind spot when it comes to Elon." By the way, I love the fact that people in a relationship like this can have such opposing views and such reasonable conversations and discussion and have so much self-awareness. This is really nice to see. Fascinating couple. And yet, when they make the 3,800-mile journey to move from Ohio to Alaska this month, their grey Tesla X will be coming too because they really cherish that car. I found this article quite fascinating. One, it's always good to hear people's perspectives. Two, it's always hilarious to see somebody leveling ridiculous accusations at Elon Musk. Accusations of sexism and misogyny. I mean, seriously, I cannot take anyone serious when they say something like this. It's clear evidence of woke mind virus-induced brain damage. There's no other explanation. It's also very interesting to see people with different perspectives and different values. Again, going back to different values that people have and the order and priority, I think it's safe to say that every single person who has concerns about what Elon Musk says, suggests that he should be a little bit more quiet, not share certain opinions and so on, is somebody who is desperate for the approval of other people. I'm extremely confident about this. I think everyone should freely share their thoughts and opinions and ideas without fear of judgment or not being approved, but most people just can't stand the idea of not being liked. Elon is one of the few exceptions. And again, I want to be really clear. The criticism that when Elon Musk says something, a certain opinion, the criticism that this might offend people, that might turn off customers, this might damage Tesla's stock price, etc., it's all valid. These are reasonable points, making the connection between these two things. But it's a step too far to suggest that Elon shouldn't be sharing these thoughts and opinions because of said consequences. You fail to understand that Elon is Elon. He has his own values. The truth, justice, and freedom are very important to Elon. He'll always speak his mind. You got to understand this. People are packages and you get everything that comes inside the package. Oh, I'm resisting the urge to make a joke about coming in packages. Anyway, this was an interesting article. It's always good, healthy discussion. Hopefully people can understand a little bit more about Elon Musk and where he's coming from here. He's not intentionally trying to do damage to Tesla or the brand. He's not intentionally trying to offend or piss people off. But he does have a pair of testicles. He does know where they're located. He regularly employs them, and that's why he says what he thinks, especially on extremely important topics and issues. And one final thing, often there's criticism leveled at Elon Musk that he's so childish. I think the real translation here is these are usually comments coming from people who've lost their sense of humor. They don't know how to have fun. They don't know how to laugh at themselves anymore. They're so serious. Their life is so boring and vanilla. They almost find it repulsive to see somebody who's actually able to laugh at themselves and have a little bit of fun without being scared about what people might think of them. Of course, I definitely don't relate to this point. I never make inappropriate jokes about people's mothers, girlfriends, sisters. I never make any mention of any of my bad habits or anything like that at all, because I too am really concerned about what people might think about me and being interpreted as childish and immature and I need to grow up and so on. And I definitely never drop any F-bombs either, because, you know, only people with a small vocabulary and a small brain would ever swear. So yeah, I totally get that point. Very valid. So to sum this one up, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone has different values, and I totally get that. However, I do take major issue when people level false accusations at people, especially Elon Musk. Sexist? Misogynist? What? What planet are you on? It's totally true that many things that Elon says will ruffle feathers, cause butthurt, and yes, even lose Tesla some customers. Going back to that comment on people's values, the truth, justice, and making the world a better place is what really matters to Elon Musk. If by trying to avert the world being ruined by the woke mind virus, Elon offends a few people along the way who decide that he hates, I don't know, women, trans people, and so on, clearly not the case, but if they want to assume that and create meaning when there is none, so desperate for the approval of others that they'll jump on the bandwagon and decide, no, he didn't put a flag in his profile, therefore he hates XYZ, whatever the current thing is, he's a bad person, then so be it. Elon's going to Elon, nothing's going to change. People can try to change him, it won't happen. I think the best outcome of all is even people who have very, very strong disagreements with Elon, his thoughts, his opinions, and have very differing values. If these people can remain rational enough to still be able to appreciate a great quality product like a Tesla vehicle, despite the fact that they disagree with the CEO, then the world is making progress. If on the other hand, people are willing to avoid buying a Tesla, to cancel or take their Tesla back because Elon said something that they disagree with, this is a pathetic form of reverse cancelling. Rather than cancelling Elon because he can't, because he matters too much, just cancel yourself and don't be a Tesla customer, because you matter a lot, and by doing that I'm sure you're really going to help the world or whatever cause you apparently care about, other than being approved of by people, I mean. Oh wait, is that the only cause you care about? And if you made it this far, I'd like to make a special request to some of the women watching. Just please answer this comment below. In general, how do you feel when you meet a man who appears to have a very strong need to be approved of by others? Just asking the question, please let me know below. Do you find approval-seeking behavior from men attractive, repulsive, neutral, or something else? I already know the answer, but please, I think this might be enlightening for a few of the other guys watching this channel. And lastly, don't forget, you can hear my unvarnished thoughts, even more unvarnished than those in this video, exclusively on Patreon. Check out the card in the corner to join, or the link in the pinned comment. There's well over 100 exclusive videos, loads of other bits of content and perks, plus instant up-to-date access to my Tesla stock price targets for all supporters at all levels. So, I'll see you over on Patreon. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.